Good evening, everyone. So I'm going to tell you a family story about baking. Full disclosure, I don't actually bake. But lately I've fallen into the habit of watching baking shows, desperately soaking up the velvety, voluptuous details of them as an end-of-day balm for the caustic world at large. In our house, my husband is the baker and the sweet tooth, and our two sons the inheritors of his mantle. His is the side of the family with devoted baking traditions, trays of morning buns studded with currants and gleaming with caramelized sugar on Thanksgiving. Tina's triple layer chocolate cake with espresso frosting on birthdays. Who is Tina? No one can remember. Sunday morning pancakes from scratch, grandma's granola. I admire these treats because they're grounded in love and lineage, but I'm sure as hell not moved to make them. Remember home ec? It instructed girls how to sew, bake, and charm their way into a future man's heart. On TV, bakers have often been the end proof of that line. Flower white, matronly, and smoothly comforting as a stick of butter. But not on Nailed It. Unlike most competitive baking shows, which traffic in professional or semi-professional bakers, Nailed It is a gorgeous, glorious cast of bad home bakers of every stripe and color. All are aspirational. The best could generously be described as amateur, or perhaps practiced. It's the show born of the Pinterest fail. Nailed It was my gateway drug to achieve the baking show buzz, and my dealer was a 9-year-old girl named Hazel. I dropped by to visit her mom, who wasn't home yet, so Hazel invited me to join her on the couch. The events unfolded in those early episodes in such an unexpected way that I felt compelled to ask out loud, "Who are these contestants? Are they professionals?" To which Hazel responded cheerfully, "No, I think they're just normal people." Normal people in all their bumbling, self-taught glory. It's about owning your inadequacies, but still loving the thing you suck at. There was the guy who dripped sweat into everything he made. There was the lady who baked a raw cake, the guy who used salt instead of sugar. There were moms and grandmas in the mix, sure, but also retired cops, special ed teachers, bartenders, med students, DJs. The victor is declared with the firing of a money gun, which rains bills on the set, a $10,000 prize. "Shoot money at her," shouts the host, Nicole Byer, with the delicious cackle of laughter. I went home that evening raving to my husband about melting Rapunzel Princess Tower cakes and dragons that lost their heads, and how I hadn't laughed this hard since, well, I didn't know how long.
Nailed it! I don't mean to laugh, but your princess is terrifying. She's so scary looking, and I don't think anybody's coming to rescue her.
After our dark, heavy binges on atmospheric dramas about drugs and prostitution rings, we found the baking show to be a pretty good leavening agent to life. Nailed It was first, then Sugar Rush. We liked the team aspect, the coordinated outfits, the timed rounds of exuberantly hued confections. I'd heard splendid things about the Great British Baking Show, which of course we had to try. It was a bit like Nailed It. I know you want to hear the rest, right? It just continue. It was a bit like Nailed It, but with the soft focus, beauty of Downton Abbey and markedly better baking skills. We fell into its close-ups of pillowy Victorian sponge cakes and lemon curd puddings with a kind of ecstasy. One day, when things got really ugly in the news, we realized our virtual sugar self-medication had gotten real. We had officially taken to dosing ourselves with baking shows to lower our blood pressure. Of all the shows in all of the land, though, I find myself returning to the pure madcap joy of Nailed It. I love Nicole Byer and her lightly lunatic sensibility.
Oh no, Sal! Oh wow!
I love her sidekick, Jacques Torres, a French pastry chef who has baked for presidents and the Pope and can't seem to stop laughing. I love the irreverence, the fun, the honoring of not quite perfection. I love that a holiday pot of gold sugar cookie can end up looking like hideously running mascara over a faceless monster. And I love the egalitarian nature of the thing most of all. Yes, representation matters even when it comes to who gets to make a bad shortbread cookie on national television. I began reading the show like a drama. Buried within it are clues, not on how to bake per se, but on how to handle tricky situations. There is encouragement, and there is good-natured trash talking. The contestants make grave errors, using granulated sugar instead of confectioner's sugar, microwaving chocolate to a burnt, smoking mess. They are endearingly human. I was struck by a moment during season 2 when Byer realizes she's been pronouncing a contestant's name wrong for the last 45 minutes. The camera zeroes in on her mortified face with horror movie echoes of her mispronunciation.
Now, Jolito.
Actually, Joelito.
What?
Joelito.
Jolito?
Yeah.
I've been saying your name wrong this whole time. Jolito. Jolito. Jolito?
Jolito cookies came out of the love.
Jolito. Jolito. Jolito.
A little bit.
Okay. Oh my God. This is Jolito. I'm so sorry.
She could have had the blunder edited out. It's a taped show. But it's presented as a teachable moment. This realness, this copping to my bad, this tender offering of regrets before moving on. What surprises me is how this feels gently subversive. Nailed It is kind of like Mr. Rogers. Radical optimism in the face of adversity smuggled into a bake-off that includes a ghoulish, liquefying orange cake in the shape of Donald Trump's head. It's really a masterpiece, I think. So my husband and I watch our baking shows, sometimes with a little whiskey chaser. And then we head up to bed, stopping to kiss our kids goodnight. Their breath warm, their squishy bodies rising and falling in the night, still unformed. I've always thought they smell like bread. Maybe watching baking shows before bed has indeed taken the edge off. Maybe those clouds of buttercream and demented towers of fondant have obscured my once clear view of the world as a morass of the morally bankrupt. But, on a good day, those ills can seem less like corrosive inevitability and more like that moment before an overfilled cake pan goes in the oven. A mistake that hasn't yet been realized, a mistake that can still be fixed. I still don't know how to bake. But even that could be seen as a kind of open-ended promise, full of possibility. Thank you.